Actually, I just talked to Delson just a few minutes ago. He didn't realize what time it was. Not that he had not planned to come on today, but he was just coming in from the airport. He had a question about something else, but he just went to the Golden Temple in northern India. This temple is made out of pure gold, and it's got guards with spears and swords. Um, if you're on his Facebook, you can see what it looks like. It's absolutely amazing. What do you think?
Where is it, David?
It's northern India, and that's about as much as I can tell you.
Amritsar, Punjab.
Huh?
It's in Amritsar, Punjab.
Oh, okay. Vimla. Uh-huh. Well, have you been there?
Yeah, many times.
Oh, many times.
Yeah, it's gold plated,
Gold
but it's
plated. Beautiful. And what is it? Sikh or is it which?
Sikh.
Sikh. Yeah, that's what I thought.
This is the holiest temple of the Sikhs.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they serve this amazing food for thousands of people. Anyone who comes can have
Uh-huh.
food.
And you've eaten there?
Yeah, and people volunteer time to go and cook in the kitchen or wash the dishes or clean the temple premises. So that's called kar seva. That is, people who give their work as a offering to the temple.
Yeah. Service. Yeah. That's great. Okay. We're going to get started here. Um, Today being the 21st of December, and we're going to start with Kirsten. It's going to be doing a sutta and talking about it, and then I will come in with a little Jataka tale presentation. So, Kirsten, would you like to take it away?
Yes, I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right, so tell me what you're seeing here.
Yeah, that looks good. Kana Sampati.
Okay, great. All right, so this is a section from the Anguttara Nikaya, and it's out of the Book of Ones, and it is the Jampudita repetition series, starting in that section. And so it's just a really nice little section about that creates a lot of happiness in the mind about how rare it is to be a human, how rare it is to encounter the Dhamma and the Buddha's teachings. And so it can really inspire a lot of happy spiritual urgency and gratitude about having this group and this opportunity. And Bhikkhu Bodhi, as some of you might know, he's going through the Anguttara Nikaya, and he's in the Book of Sevens now. We just joined his talk yesterday, but he does this whole section also. And one of the things that he says is he uses this word, the Kana Sampati, and it can be translated in a few different ways, but he kind of settled on the attainment of the rare chance to encounter the Buddha's teaching. So, and just as another anecdote for anybody who is following Bhikkhu Bodhi and his talks on the Anguttara Nikaya, this was done 9 years ago. So he's been working just very beautifully and diligently through sharing the Anguttara Nikaya. All right, so let's go. Please say something if there's any issues and with sound or anything like that. Everything good?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, great. Okay, monks, just as in India, where the delightful parks, woods, meadows, and lotus ponds are few, while the hilly grounds, inaccessible lands, stumps and thorns, and rugged mountains are many, So too the beings born on land are few, while those other beings born in the water are many. So it just starts off telling us just how rare it is just to be born on land as a human. So too the beings reborn as humans are few, while those other beings not reborn as humans are many. So too the beings reborn in the middle country are few, while those reborn in the faraway land among Dhamma are many. So too the beings who are wise, bright, clever, and able to distinguish what is well said from what is poorly said are few, while the beings who are, now this sounds a little mean, but witless, dull, stupid, and unable to distinguish what is well said from what is poorly said are many. So too the beings who have the noble eye of wisdom are few, while those who are ignorant and confused are many. So too the beings who get to see a fully enlightened Buddha are few, while those who don't get to see a fully enlightened Buddha are many. So too the beings who get to hear the teaching and training proclaimed by a fully enlightened Buddha are few, while those other beings who don't get to hear the teaching and training proclaimed by a fully enlightened Buddha are many. And as you can see, we just get more and more fortunate as this sutta goes on. So too the beings who remember the Dhamma teachings they hear are few, while those who don't remember the Dhamma teachings they hear are many. So too the beings who examine the meaning of the Dhamma teachings they have memorized are few, while those who don't examine the meaning of the Dhamma teachings they have memorized are many. So too the beings who understand the meaning and the teaching of the Dhamma and practice accordingly are few, while those who understand the meaning and the teaching of the Dhamma but don't get to practice accordingly are many. There's so many, to stop for a moment, there's so many conditions that lead to a person being able to take a retreat, to be able to have the time off, to being healthy enough to practice. There's so many things coming together that it's almost miraculous when you see how lucky we are to have this. So too the beings who witness problems of life and think seriously about a way out are few, while those who don't think seriously about a way out are many. And I think, at least in my encounter with other people, I think a lot of people who come into this are coming here because of their suffering in life and seeking answers for that. But most people are, and the suttas clearly say this, most people seek for happiness through sense pleasures, through things that don't actually cause happiness, through things that cause suffering, through things that are impermanent, and things that are empty. So too the beings, after thinking seriously about the meaning of life, strive effectively to find the true meaning of life are few, while those who, even though touched by the problems of life, don't strive for a way out effectively are many. So I always think when people come for a retreat or any time people are practicing diligently, it is just such a beautiful thing and such a thing to honor. People taking a retreat, whether you're doing it at home, whether you're coming here to do that, however you're doing that, it's an amazing thing. And so too the beings who gain concentration, or as we say collectedness, gain, nibbana are few, and aiming for nibbana are many. And of course, we see so many people utilizing the TWIM practice, really having wonderful experience, getting to touch the jhanas and experience the path, all through the 6R right effort, of course. Now, this is really interesting because this is the end of the sutta, and right before the very end it says, "So too the people who receive the best food and flavors are few, while those who don't get the best food and flavors but receive by begging are many." And I think that there is really something really special about food and giving food. It's something that is so important to us. Most of us probably don't think about it a whole lot because we have enough food. But if you just have a couple of days with no food, you would suffer.
Good food.
Yeah, and that is a good point. It points out, now many people, it's about, having money also. Wealthy people have the best food. But actually, even, in some places now, certainly here in the US, you don't have to have necessarily wealthy to have good food.
You can be a monk and have really good food.
That's right.
I know Bhante would have the best food anywhere, and he was like a king. He got everything that was the best, and got the respect, and got everything, and he had nothing. He was a monk. So being a monk is of great benefit too. Maybe being a monk is that on this list? I don't think so.
It's not on this list, no.
Yeah. But you're right. It's interesting that best food is so far down the list that seeing a Buddha is less than getting the best food. And of course, here in this country and in the West, we're used to just going out and getting great food all the time. But that just isn't true for most of the rest of the world. They're just eating, for example, just their local foods and over again. When we go out and have food, we say, well, which country? Well, Thai, Indian, and oh, the best one is over there. And so we get the best of every country. And these countries, no, they just have their food. And of course, they have a McDonald's, but nonetheless. But anyway, yeah, continue.
Okay. Yeah, so I feel like there's so much to say about food because, we have so many opportunities to feed other people, to feed other animals, and help people with food. And so it just really stands out in my mind because at times that I've been on retreat, for example, and I've taken my little set of food and just being hit with just like this gratitude of, wow, this is really amazing. Okay. Let's say, okay, so let's finish it up. So too, the beings who get to experience the meaning of the Dhamma, the teachings of the Dhamma, and the peace of Nibbana are few, while the beings who don't get to experience the meaning of the Dhamma, the teachings of the Dhamma, and the peace of Nibbana are many. So you should train like this. We will get to experience the meaning of the Dhamma, the teaching of the Dhamma, and the peace of Nibbana. That is how you should train. And
perfect.
Okay. All right. So so we're all properly inspired then. So let me share something else with everybody. And maybe I'll stop share for a moment and then I'll come back to it. So so Dhamma Sukha is starting a little sitting Zoom group on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. Our time, Central Time, for anybody who would like to join us. And so what this group is going to be, and I'm working on a newsletter for it right now that will go out soon, we're going to read a short sutta passage and then sit in meditation for about 30 minutes and then open it up for any reflection about the sutta we talked about or about the meditation or anything else that stands out. So just a little Dhamma friends group. So it's not going to be a Dhamma talk per se. It will be just where we explore and discover the suttas together. And the way I have it set up is it's going to start, I'll kind of have some cohesive kinds of little groupings together. So for the first 12 to 13 weeks, we'll use the Kanda Samyutta, so the book on the 5 aggregates, and utilize a little text. It's a beautiful little text written by a monk named Dhammavudo, and he's no longer alive. And it's called The 5 Illusionists. And he references about 19 suttas in this work. And it's it's so simple. I mean, it's deep and simple at the same time. So it's about 51 pages, this essay. And the suttas just kind of show up throughout, mainly from the Samyutta Nikaya. And they're beautiful meditation objects that can be used in meditation that can really take you very, very deeply, especially when we use it the way that Delson introduced how to do the aggregate meditation. There's a lot of different ways. You start off by going to the 4th jhana, or if you don't like thinking of it in terms of jhanas, you meditate until your mind is very collected and still. And then at that point, you start to drop in these reflections on the aggregates and looking at them in terms of the 5 characteristics. And in a lot of different ways, actually. If you've read the Samyutta Nikaya, then in that section on the 5 aggregates, the Buddha gives his monks and his followers so many different ways that they can do it. Some people really, resonate with emptiness and not self. Some people can really do the suffering aspect. Some people might resonate with other ways of reflecting through the aggregates. So anyway, I would love for anybody to come and join that, and you wouldn't have to participate, but I would love for everybody to say something about something if you come to that. That would be really nice.
So you're going to have that newsletter ready when now?
In the next couple of days, possibly even today.
And I think you were talking about January 6th?
January 6th at 10 a.m. Central Time.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Thank you, Kirsten.
Thank you.
Okay. So let me, so we're going to start talking a little bit about Jataka tales, but the Reading Faithfully people sent out this sutta, which I have to share first, because it's one of these very interesting things about the gods and the devas and how it all works up there. So we're going to take a look at that. And I was just reflecting that it's amazing that all of us just take it for granted, but we know the cosmology. We know there's 31 planes of existence. We know there's the Deva realms, the sensual realms, and there's Brahmalokas, and there's the planes where there's no body. There is the highest realm of Anagami. There's 5 pure abodes. There's cessation. There is the human realm. There is the animal realm, the ghosts, the hells, the Narayas. All of this is laid out. None of us would have figured it out. We had no clue. And even the most advanced meditators they don't have the abilities to see all of this. A few do, but not much of it, some of it. And so the Buddha has given us this worldview, this universal view of how it all works. And I always thought when I started meditation, the meditation would show me how all of it works, give me all this information. But in fact, no, it's just the meditation. And as the Buddha said, he grabbed a bunch of leaves in his hand and says, "This is what I'm going to teach you. But boy, the forest is covered with many leaves, and I know many things. And this is just a small amount I'm going to teach you." But in any case, here's a little thing about how do the gods pass away? From the Iti Vituka 83, Pancha Puba Nimitta. Nimitta would mean sign. And this is the 5 warning signs. This was said by the Buddha, the perfected one. This is what I heard. Mendicants, or monks. This is Sujato's translation. He puts in mendicants. I think I prefer monks. Bhikkhu Bodhi puts in bhikkhus. So, monks, when a god is due to pass away from the realm of the gods, 5 warning signs appear. Their flower garlands wither. Their clothes become soiled. They sweat from the armpits. And their physical appearance deteriorates, aging. And they no longer delight in their heavenly throne. When the other gods know that god is due to pass away, they wish them well in 3 ways. Sir, may you go from here to a good place. When you have gone to a good place, may you be blessed with good fortune. When you have been blessed with good fortune, may you become well-grounded. When he said this, one of the monks said to the Buddha, Sir, what do the gods reckon to be going to a good place? What do they reckon to be blessed with a good fortune? What do they reckon to become well-grounded? It is human existence, monks, that the gods reckon to be going to a good place. When a human being gains faith in the teaching and training proclaimed by the realized one, that is what the gods reckon to be blessed with good fortune. When that faith in the realized one is settled, rooted, and planted deep, when it's strong and can't be shifted by any ascetic or Brahmin or God or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in the world, that is what the gods reckon to become well-grounded. The Buddha spoke in this manner. On this it is said, when with the fading of life a god passes from the realm of the gods utter 3 cries of well-wishing. Sir, go from here to a good place, in the company of humans. As a human being, gain supreme faith in the true teaching. May that faith of yours be settled, with roots planted deep, unfaltering all life long in the true teaching, so well proclaimed. Having given up bad conduct by way of body, speech, and mind, and whatever else is corrupt, and having done much good by way of body, speech, and mind, limitless, free of attachments, then having made much worldly merit by giving gifts, establish other colleagues in the true teaching, the spiritual life. It is due to such compassion that when the gods know a god is due to pass away, they wish them well. Come back, God, again and again. This too is a matter that was spoken by the Blessed One. This is what I heard. So I thought that was a fun one, because we're always wondering how this all happens. And this is part of this is what Kirsten was talking about, how fortunate we are to be in the human realm, where there is a mixture of good and evil, or wholesome and unwholesome, or pleasantness and unpleasantness. In the higher realms, there is nothing but pleasantness. Now, you can go on YouTube and listen to many NDE stories about people visiting the heavenly realms. And they notice that there's no pain there, nothing. Their mind is always happy. There is music. There is dancing. I mean, it's just like what the Buddha said. And then there are NDEs where there is the hell realms, the lower realms, and there is nothing but pain. There is no happiness, nothing, not even one bit. But in the human realm, it's a mixture. So we have to have a lot of gratitude to be here so that we can practice, we can see the pain, but we can be relieved of pain, see some pleasure, and be in this moderate world where we can practice. So, next thing I'm going to do, I'll stop that share. And I'm going to go over to a PowerPoint. Okay, everybody can see this. So, what are the Jataka tales? There's 547 of them. They recount the previous lives of the Buddha before his final enlightenment. Each tale teaches moral lessons through the adventures of the Bodhisattva, the Buddha to be, in various forms across various lifetimes. Here at Dhamma Sukha, we have probably about 3 versions of the Jataka tales. They're like 3 very, very large books. And they're very interesting because they go back to the time that he was just a lay person and he was involved in various situations and how he got out of them and how he handled them. And then it gives you a kind of a moral of the story. When this happens, the correct way to think about it is this. So ancient origins, these stories were first compiled around the 3rd century BCE, making them over 2,300 years old. So probably around the time of Ashoka, they started writing these things down. But that's about all I know about it. They represent some of the world's oldest moral teaching stories, predating Aesop's fables by centuries. Buddha's many lives. And of course, the Buddha and all of us had many, many lives. So the way that it works is a 3-part structure. There's the present day, there's a situation that comes up, and it reminds the Buddha of a time when he was a bodhisattva, and he talks about that. The ancient story that parallels it, and the Buddha's revelation of connections. The tales always end with the Buddha identifying himself and his disciples in their past life role. So he'll talk about a situation in a past life and what he was and the people that were with him and maybe the negative thing that happened and how they solved it. And then what this tells us, what we should learn from this. There's universal themes. The stories teach generosity, compassion, wisdom, patience, and ethical conduct through memorable characters and situations. Whether the Buddha appears as animal, human, or divine, the moral lessons remain timeless and relevant. The generous Prince Vasanatara, in his final human birth before becoming Buddha, Prince Vasanatara gave away everything, his wealth, kingdom, even his children, to help others. That's a teaching of generosity. It's just kind of going through a few little stories. I'll read a few stories here shortly. Then there is the animal wisdom teachers. The Buddha was reborn as an animal many times, as a deer, as a monkey, a wise monkey king protecting his tribe from hunters, teaching leadership through sacrifice, a noble deer offering himself to save a pregnant doe, showing ultimate compassion. And in these stories, the Buddha was these characters. And lessons for today. These 2,300-year-old stories address modern challenges: greed, hatred, ignorance, and the path to inner peace. They show that wisdom and compassion can flourish in any form, any circumstance, and any lifetime. They give us timeless wisdom, connecting ancient wisdom to the present moment. And there's a lot of, some of them are longer, some are shorter. And it's very interesting because all of the Buddha's chief disciples followed him through his training. He knew these disciples as other beings. At the time he determined to become a Buddha, they existed out there. And then they also made determinations to be chief disciples of a Buddha. So they had their own work that they had to do. For example, his chief disciples, they required 1 Mahakappa and 100,000 eons to become chief disciples of the Buddha. That's the work that they had to do. The current Gautama Buddha required 4 Mahakappas and 100,000 lifetimes, which is just an unbelievable amount of time. And then other beings that were around the Buddha, they also determined many times there would be someone who would want to be near a Buddha, and he would make a determination to be with that Buddha.
In the Sumara Jataka, the Bodhisattva was born as a clever monkey living by the Ganges. A crocodile.
My God.
Tricked by his wife's desire to eat the monkey's heart, offered to carry him across the river to sweeter fruits. Midway, the crocodile revealed his deadly intent, but the monkey cleverly claimed his heart was hanging in a nearby fig tree. When brought back to shore, the monkey escaped into a tree and mocked the crocodile for his foolishness. Did you want to say anything about that?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I created a summary because it gets a little bit long, so I wanted to make sure that people kind of understood what was going on here before we got into the full thing.
Okay, sure. Okay, so the crocodile and the monkey. Sumara Jataka. Let's see, I'm not sure really. Rose apple, I'm not sure. This story the master told at Jetavana about Devadatta's attempts to murder him. When he heard of these attempts, the master said, "This is not the first time that Devadatta has tried to murder me. He did the same before and yet could not so much as make me afraid." Then he told this story. Once upon a time, while Brahmadatta was king of Benares, the Bodhisattva came to life at the foot of the Himalaya as a monkey. He grew strong and sturdy, big of frame, well-to-do, and lived by a curve of the river Ganges in a forest haunt. Now at that time there was a crocodile dwelling in the Ganges. The crocodile mate saw the great frame of the monkey, and she conceived a longing for his heart to eat. So she said to her lord, "Sir, I desire to eat the heart of that great king of the monkeys." "Good wife," said the crocodile, "I live in the water, and he lives on dry land. How can we catch him?" "By hook or by crook," she replied. Caught he must be. If I don't get him, I shall die. I have to go down. Okay. All right, answered the crocodile, consoling her. Don't trouble yourself. I have a plan. I will give you his heart to eat. So when the Bodhisattva was sitting on the bank of the Ganges after taking a drink of water, the crocodile drew near and said, Sir Monkey, why do you live on bad fruits in this old familiar place? On the other side of the Ganges there is no end to the mango trees and labuja trees with sweet fruit sweet as honey. Is it not better to cross over and have all kinds of wild fruit to eat? Lord Crocodile, the monkey made answer, Deep and wide is the Ganges, how shall I get across? If you go, I will mount you on my back and carry you over. The monkey trusted him and agreed. Come here then, said the other, up on my back with you. And up the monkey climbed, but when the crocodile had swum a little way, he plunged the monkey under water. Good friend, you are letting me sink, cried the monkey. What is that for? Said the crocodile, you think I'm carrying you out of pure good nature. Not a bit of it. My wife has a longing for your heart, and I want to give it to her to eat. Friend, said the monkey, it is nice of you to tell me. Why, if our heart were inside us when we go jumping among the treetops, it would be all knocked to pieces. Well, where do you keep it? Asked the other. The Bodhisattva pointed out a fig tree with clusters of ripe fruit standing not far off. See, he said, there are our hearts hanging on yon fig tree. If you will show me your heart, said the crocodile, then I won't kill you. Take me to the tree then, and I will point it out to you, hanging upon it. The crocodile brought him to the place. The monkey leapt off his back, and climbing up the fig tree, sat upon it. Oh, silly crocodile, he said, you thought that there were creatures that kept their hearts in a treetop. You are a fool. I have outwitted you. You may keep your fruit to yourself. Your body is great, but you have no sense. And then to explain this idea, he uttered the following stanzas. Rose, apple, jackfruit, mangoes too across the water there I see. Enough of them, I want them not. My fig is good enough for me. Great is your body, verily, but how much smaller is your wit. Now go your way, Sir Crocodile, for I have had the best of it. The crocodile, feeling as sad and miserable as if he had lost 1,000 pieces of money, went back, sorrowing, to the place where he lived. When the master had endorsed this discourse, he identified the birth. In those days, Devadatta was the crocodile. The lady Sinsha was his mate, and I was the monkey.
Yeah, so here's Devadatta again going after the Buddha. And Devadatta was the crocodile. I mean, Devadatta and the Buddha and many of the other disciples in the Jataka tales, they hang around during his bursts just for eons. And it kind of indicates that probably our families that we have grown up in, we've been with these people. All of us on this call may have been together for many eons, or we were together 3 lifetimes ago, or it just shows you how we tend to stay in a certain group flying around the lifetimes. Okay, so this is Vinilaka Jataka, and the summary, I'll read this one here. In the Vinilaka Jataka number 160, the Bodhisattva was born as King Vidaha, while a goose fathered a dingy-colored son named Vinilaka, Dingy, with a crow. When Dingy's goose brothers flew him through the sky on a stick, he arrogantly compared himself to King Vidiha riding in a chariot, implying that they were like his horses. Offended, the geese reported this to their father, who rebuked Dingy for his pride and disrespect, sending him back to his crow mother. The Buddha concluded that just as Devadatta came to ruin by imitating him, so too did Dingy fall by arrogantly imitating the king. So Dingy is imitating the king like he's a king and he's great as the king. And then later in the tale, he feels like he's better than the king. So here is the Jataka. As yonder king goes galloping. This story the master told during a sojourn in Velavana, how Devadatta imitated the Buddha. The two disciples went to visit, now this is present day, went to visit Gayasaya, where Devadatta imitated the Buddha and fell. So he just fell down. The elders then both returned after delivering a discourse, taking them with their own pupils. On arriving at Velavana, the master asked them what Devadatta had done when he saw them. Sir, they said, he imitated the Buddha and was utterly destroyed. The master answered, it is not only now, Sariputta, that Devadatta came to dire destruction by mimicking me. It was just the same before. Then at the elder's request, he told an old world tale. So things that people were doing at the Buddha's time that were kind of negative, the Buddha would look at them and say, you know, in another lifetime, this is what they did, and they're still doing it. So this is the other lifetime. Once upon a time when King Vedaha was reigning at Mithila in the realm of Vedaha, the Bodhisattva was born as the son of his queen consort. He grew up in due course and was educated at Takasila. Upon his father's death, he inherited the kingdom. So it then became the Bodhisattva's kingdom. Now, in another realm, at that time, a certain king of the golden geese mated with a crow at the feeding grounds, and to them was born a son. So a wonderful golden goose and a crow, and they had a son. He resembled neither his mother nor his father. He was entirely dingy, blue-black in color, so they named him Dingy. The goose king often visited his offspring. In other words, he had the king had a little affair with a crow, and they bore this offspring, Dingy. But he felt bad, and he wanted to go and visit this son of his. So the Goose King often visited his offspring. He also had two other sons who were geese like himself. These two young geese noticed that their goose father often visited the regions inhabited by humans and asked him the reason. He replied, my sons, I have a mate there, a crow, and she has given me a son named Dingy. It is him I go to visit. Well, where do they live? They asked. On a palm tree near Mithila in the kingdom of Vedaha, he said, describing the location. Father, they said, where humans are, there is danger and peril. You ought not to go there. Let us go and fetch him for you. So they wanted to bring his son back for him so he could talk to him locally. So they took a stick, perched Dingy upon it, and gripping the ends in their beaks, flew over the city of Mithila. At that moment, King Vedaha happened to be riding in a magnificent carriage drawn by 4 milk-white thoroughbreds, making a triumphal circuit of the city. So the king in all his glory is in a carriage, touring his kingdom. Well, Dingy looked down and saw him and thought, what is the difference between King Vedaha and me? He is riding in state around his capital in a chariot drawn by 4 white horses, and I am being carried in a vehicle drawn by a pair of geese. As Kirsten, you have to continue.
Sorry. Okay. Let's see. As yonder king goes galloping with his milk-white 4 in hand, Dingy has these, his pair of geese, to bear him over the land. These words made the geese angry. Their first thought was, well, let us drop him here and leave him. But then they reconsidered, what will our father say? So for fear of rebuke, they brought the creature to their father and recounted all that had happened. The father grew angry when he heard the tale. What, he exclaimed, are you superior to my sons, that you make yourself their master and treat them like horses pulling a carriage? You don't know your place. This is no place for you. Go back to your mother. And with this rebuke, he recited the second stanza. Dingy, my dear, there's danger here. This is no place for you. By village gates your mother waits. There you must hasten to. With this censure, he ordered his sons to carry the bird to the dung heap outside the city of Mithila, and so they did. When the lesson ended, the master identified the birth. Devadatta was dingy in those days. The two elders were the two young geese. Ananda was the father goose. I myself was King Vidaha.
Okay. Sorry about all coughing, but we get through these things. So there you go. Couple of Jataka tales. And they're just examples for the people to learn from while the Buddha is there talking about something. He'll spot something and he'll say, oh, that reminds me of this time. And so they learn from that. And there's many, many stories. Like I said, there's 3 volumes. There's different translations of the Jataka tales. And there's even current translations, like where the Bible has been translated into like present day English. And there's more ancient translations of Jataka tales. So that's about it. That's the Jataka tales, and there's a bunch of them. You can read them online, or you can get books from bookstores or Amazon or where the case may be, and find out more about them. So that's all I got for you, and that's the end of this session. Is there any questions?
Or comments?
Like, why did you take cough syrup at the beginning of this? I thought I was okay. Evidently not. So anyway. All right. So well, let's see.
Thank you.
But let me find the merit.
Okay.
Now let me find the share.
While you do that, let me share one quick thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I found a little note that I had been looking for during the thing the sutta that I shared, and this was about the sense of urgency. And so this is a note on that little sutta in the back of the Anguttara Nikaya, and this is taken from the commentaries, and it says that there are 8 bases of the sense of urgency that we have for practicing and getting off the wheel of samsara. And here are the 8. Birth, old age, illness, death, the suffering in the realms of misery, the suffering rooted in one's samsaric past, the suffering to be encountered in one's samsaric future, and the suffering rooted in the search for nutriment. So I thought that was interesting. Okay.
That's good. Yeah. All right. So sharing merit. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief.
may all
May all beings share this merit that we thus acquired, the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddhist dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, everyone, we will see you next week.